I am 28 male, sitting here with a glass of wine, watching my phone not ring for once. It's been eerily peaceful these past 3 months. Let me explain. My younger sister Mallory, 25, has always been difficult. Not in the typical sibling rivalry way, but in the only calls when she needs something way. Growing up, she was the artistic one who was going to be a famous designer. I was the boring one who went into IT. Guess which one of us could actually pay rent? 2 years ago, Mallory was in one of her crisis phases. She quit her retail job to focus on her design portfolio. Translation: she spent all day on Pinterest. She couldn't find an apartment because her credit was shot from maxing out cards on fabric and craft supplies she never used. Mom was already helping her financially, and Dad had passed 5 years prior. Enter me, the stable older brother with good credit and a steady job. She begged me to co-sign her lease. Swore up and down she had freelance work lined up, showed me fake invoices I didn't know they were fake then, cried about being homeless. Against my better judgment, I co-signed for a nice one-bedroom apartment downtown. $1,800 per month. Not cheap, but she insisted she needed to be where the creative energy was. For 2 years, I basically subsidized her life. Not directly paying her rent, but lending her money that never got paid back. Buying her groceries when she'd text that she was surviving on ramen. Covering her utilities when they threatened shutoff. I estimate I gave her around $8,000 over those 2 years. No formal tracking because family doesn't need receipts, right? The breaking point came in September. I'd started dating someone seriously, Nora. First time I'd really clicked with someone since my ex Mallory found out through Mom and lost it. Not because she was happy for me, but because I'd been too busy to respond to her texts asking for $300 for art supplies, probably another shopping spree. I tried to have an adult conversation with her. Went to her apartment with coffee and donuts, hoping we could talk about boundaries. I started explaining that I couldn't keep being her emergency fund, that I had my own life and future to think about. She went nuclear. You're choosing some random woman over your sister? Over family? After everything I've sacrificed. What sacrifices? I asked her to name one time she'd help me with anything. One time. Silence. Then the screaming started. You're just jealous because I'm following my dreams while you waste away in some corporate job. You've always resented me for being creative while you're just another boring tech bro. You know what? You no longer exist for me. Done. She grabbed my phone from the table and blocked her own number, then demanded I leave. I watch her do the same on Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. Why do we even connect there? The last thing she screamed as she slammed the door was that she never wanted to see my sellout face again. I sat in my car for a minute, processing. Then I realized this was perfect. The trash had taken itself out. See, what Mallory didn't remember in her dramatic exit was that her lease was up for renewal in December. And as co-signer, they'd need my signature. Again, I drove home, made myself a nice dinner, and blocked her on everything too. Why not? She started it. Then I did something else. I set up a new email filter, sending anything from her apartment complex straight to a folder I never check. Changed my phone number. I've been meaning to anyway after some spam calls. Only gave a new number to people who actually matter. September passed. October was blissful. No crisis texts. Number 11 p.m. calls about needing gas money. No guilt trips. I took Nora on a weekend trip with the money I wasn't giving Mallory. It was nice. November came. Still silence. Mom mentioned Mallory had been going through something, but was respecting my need for space. I didn't correct her assumption that this was my choice. Then December 1st happened. I was having lunch when Mom called in tears. Mallory was being evicted? She was hysterical? Something about lease renewal? Turns out, the property management company had been trying to reach both of us since November 15th about lease renewal. Standard procedure. They need both signatures by December 1st, or they can't renew. Mallory had been getting notices, but assumed they'd reach me too. When she finally called them November 30th to ask why I hadn't signed yet, they informed her they'd been unable to reach me at any of the contact points on file. That's when she realized her mistake. She blocked me everywhere. My old phone number was dead. Emails bouncing back. No social media access. She'd literally cut off every way they could contact me through her. And now it was December 1st, past the deadline. The apartment had already been promised to someone else starting January 1st. She had 30 days to vacate. According to Mom, Mallory had a complete meltdown in the leasing office, begged them to make an exception. But their policy was ironclad. Both parties must sign renewal documents by the deadline, no exceptions. The new tenants had already signed their lease. The best part? Even if she could reach me now, it was too late. The renewal window had closed. Mom begged me to help. I asked how I was supposed to help someone who told me I no longer exist. I reminded her of all the money I'd given Mallory over the years. How she'd screamed at me for trying to set a boundary. How she'd made it crystal clear she wanted nothing to do with me. But she's your sister. According to her, I'm not. I no longer exist, remember? Mom had no response to that. Update 1. The entitlement escalated exactly as I expected. Mallory managed to get my new number from Mom. Thanks, Mom. And the text started rolling in. I didn't block her immediately because, honestly, I was curious to see how this would play out. First came the angry demands. You have to help me find a new place. This is your fault. You're listed as co-signer. You're legally obligated to help. I'll sue you for sabotaging my housing. Then the guilt trips. I'm going to be homeless because of you. How can you sleep at night knowing your sister will be on the streets? Dad would be ashamed of you. That last one almost got me. Almost. Then I remembered Dad worked 2 jobs to support us, and Mallory had called him a wage slave for not pursuing his passion. When those didn't work, she tried negotiation. Look, I'll pay you back everything I owe if you just co-sign one more time. I have a huge commission coming in January, I swear. It's just temporary until my business takes off. The same lies she'd been telling for years. Finally, desperation. Please, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I was wrong, okay? Is that what you want to hear? But here's where it gets really good. While she was bombarding me with texts, she was apparently also scrambling to find someone else to co-sign. She went through our entire extended family. Uncle Roy? Nope. He remembered the $500 she borrowed for a medical emergency that turned out to be a shopping spree. Cousin Dimitri? He laughed and reminded her she still owed him from 3 years ago. Even our grandmother said no. Apparently Mallory had been hitting her up for money too, and Grandma was tired of it. But the real kicker came when she tried to get approved on her own. With no co-signer, landlords wanted to see proof of income, bank statements, the works. That's when her house of cards started falling. See, Mallory had been lying to everyone, including me, about her successful design business. Those freelance clients? Fake. The invoices she showed me 2 years ago, she made them in Canva. Her actual income was sporadic Etsy sales and maybe $200 per month from the 2 legitimate clients she hadn't driven away with missed deadlines. She'd been paying rent using a combination of my money, Mom's money, credit cards, and selling things. She'd even sold some of Dad's tools he'd left her, telling Mom they were stolen from her storage unit. The apartment she wanted? They laughed her out of the office. Even studios wanted first month, last month, and security deposit, minimum $3,600 upfront. She had $83 in her checking account. Mom called me crying again, saying Mallory was having a breakdown. I suggested maybe hitting rock bottom would force her to get a real job. Mom hung up on me. Then came the flying monkeys. Mallory's best friend Celia called to tell me I was abusive for financially controlling my sister. I pointed out that not giving someone money isn't financial abuse. She called me toxic and hung up. Her other friend Bria tried the sympathy angle, saying Mallory was neurodivergent and couldn't help being bad with money. I asked for diagnosis. She didn't have one. The text from Mallory got increasingly unhinged. You've ruined my life. I hope you're happy knowing you've destroyed your own sister. Nora will see what a monster you are. I'm going to expose you on social media for the abuser you are. That last threat made me finally respond. I thought I didn't exist. She sent 17 crying emojis and then nothing for 2 days. Update 2. So it's been a month since D-Day deadline day, and boy has this been a ride. First, let me address the social media exposure threat. Mallory tried. She really did. She posted this long, rambling Facebook post about financial abuse, family abandonment, and how her evil brother left her homeless. What she didn't expect was for people to actually ask questions. Our cousin Anna commented, "Didn't he co-sign your apartment 2 years ago?" Our mutual friend from high school asked, "Didn't you block him though?" Best comment came from our Aunt Linda. "Honey, didn't you tell everyone at Thanksgiving that you cut him off for being toxic?" Mallory deleted the post within 3 hours. She tried again on Instagram with a vague story about fake family and betrayal when you need them most. That backfired too when someone screenshotted her September post where she'd bragged about cutting toxic people out, even if they're blood, with a selfie of her blocking someone on her phone. The internet doesn't forget, Mal. But here's where it gets truly wild. Around December 15th, I got a call from an unknown number. It was a process server. Mallory was actually trying to sue me. She'd found some ambulance chaser who took her case, claiming I'd deliberately sabotaged her housing situation through gross negligence. I met with a lawyer friend who looked at the filing and actually laughed. Her case was basically, he didn't read emails I prevented him from receiving because I blocked him everywhere. The lawyer she found was one of those no-win, no-fee types who probably took her case just to bill a few hours of research before dropping it. While this was happening, the housing situation got worse. Mallory had to be out by January 1st. Mom offered to let her move back home, but here's the thing about Mallory. She's burnt every bridge twice. See, when she lived with Mom after college, she turned the garage into an art studio without permission, damaging the floor with paint and chemicals. Adopted 2 cats without asking, despite Mom's severe allergies. Had loud creative sessions at 3 a.m. Invited her artist collective over for weekend-long parties. Never paid a dime in rent or utilities. Mom's offer came with conditions. Get a job, pay $400 per month rent, no guests after 10 p.m., no pets. Mallory called these draconian rules that stifle creativity and refused. She spent the next 2 weeks couch surfing. First with Celia, lasted 3 days before Celia's roommate threatened to call the cops if she didn't leave. Then with Bria, lasted 1 day. Turns out Bria's boyfriend wasn't cool with a house guest who called him a corporate drone within 5 minutes of meeting. She even reached out to her ex, who responded with a laughing emoji and blocked her. December 27th, I got a call from Mom. Mallory had shown up at her door at 11 p.m. with everything she owned in her beat-up Honda Civic, sobbing. She'd been sleeping in her car for 3 days. Mom caved and let her in, but held firm on the conditions. Here's the part that really shows her entitlement, though. Even homeless, even desperate, she still wouldn't admit she'd done anything wrong. According to Mom, she spent the whole first night ranting about how I should have known the lease renewal was coming up. I should have tried harder to contact her. The apartment complex should have made an exception. Her friends were fake for not supporting her. Society was against artists. This was all a conspiracy to force her into corporate slavery. Not once did she acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, blocking the person co-signing your apartment wasn't the smartest move. The lawsuit got dropped January 2nd. Her lawyer filed a notice of withdrawal citing irreconcilable differences regarding case merit. Translation: even an ambulance chaser knew this was unwinnable. Final update. It's been 3 months since I became a person who no longer exists, and I thought I'd give you all closure on this saga. Mallory is still living with Mom. The conditions have been interesting. She did get a job at Starbucks. The same Starbucks where she used to spend $8 on drinks while texting me that she couldn't afford groceries. The irony is delicious. She lasted 2 weeks before trying to organize her coworkers into an artist collective that would use the space after hours for creative expression. Her manager shut that down real quick. She's still there, but barely. Mom says she calls out sick at least once a week for mental health days. Translation: she stayed up until 4 a.m. working on projects nobody asked for. The $400 rent she's supposed to pay Mom? She's paid it exactly once, the first month. Last month, it was, I had to buy work shoes, Doc Martens that cost $200. This month, it's, I'm saving for a new laptop for my design business. She has a perfectly functional one. But here's the karma. Remember how she sold Dad's tools? Well, Mom finally went into the garage to clean and found out. Dad's entire woodworking collection, the table saw, The vintage hand planes he restored, the custom-made chisels, all gone. Mom was devastated. Those were supposed to go to my future kids someday, a connection to their grandfather. When confronted, Mallory tried to lie, then cried, then got angry that Mom was valuing objects over her well-being. Mom kicked her out for a week. She came crawling back, but something in Mom finally broke. She started therapy to deal with what she calls enabling behaviors. Go, Mom. I've had peace. Actual, legitimate peace. Nora and I are doing great. We're planning a vacation to Japan. With the money, I'm not hemorrhaging to Mallory anymore. I sleep better. I don't jump when my phone rings. I don't check my bank balance with anxiety anymore. Mallory tried one more time to contact me last week. She got a new number and texted, "I know you hate me, but I really need to talk to you. It's important." I didn't respond. According to Mom, the important thing was that she wanted me to co-sign a car loan. Her Civic finally died, and somehow she thought I'd help her get a new car. The delusion is strong with this one. The friend who served as my lawyer, just for the consultation, the case never went anywhere, told me something that stuck. She didn't just burn the bridge. She nuked it, then complained about the radiation. For those asking if I feel guilty, no, not even a little. I spent years financing her dreams while she treated me like an ATM with abandonment issues. The moment I tried to establish one boundary, just one, she went scorched earth. She made her choice in September. I just honored it. Someone commented on my first post that the best revenge is living well. They were right. I'm living very well. My credit score is still excellent. My relationship is thriving. My mental health has never been better. And somewhere across town, the person who declared I no longer exist is learning what it's like when that becomes true. The only signature she's getting from me these days is return to sender on any mail she somehow manages to send. Life is good when you don't exist. 10 out of 10 would recommend.